countdown.
Congratulations! This live broadcast is specially brought to you by Academy YouTuber Malaysia, an initiative by eDidik Malaysia and Kelab Guru Malaysia. Please pay attention. The live broadcast will begin shortly. The link to the certificate of attendance will be provided at the end of the session. Please make sure it is filled within the stipulated time. Thank you.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Good evening and hi to all teachers, parents and the wonderful students. Okay, welcome to Pusat Tuition Academy YouTuber, a joint venture with eDidik Malaysia and Kelab Guru Malaysia with the hashtag bermula percuma, selamanya percuma. So before we proceed, let's begin our session with the recitation of Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. And for the non-Muslim, please take a moment of silence. Okay, so how is everyone doing today? Okay, my prayer is that everyone is in the best of health and ready to proceed with today's class. I also would like to introduce, I introduce myself first. Okay, I introduce myself. I am Madam Rosmaya as your moderator and also a control host for today. So I'm a Form 6 Physics teacher at SMJK Yuhua Kajang Selangor. And the most important person today is our presenter, okay, teacher Nun. Okay, she is from College Matrikulasi Negeri Sembilan. So let us give a warm welcome to our presenter. So even though there are only two of us here, but do not worry, we will make sure that today's session runs smoothly. Okay, for the record, we are now live on Teacher Non's channel. So as a sign of support to Teacher Non for the hard work in preparing today's lesson, so please subscribe her channel. And not forgetting to subscribe my channel too. Okay, as usual, the lesson will last approximately 1 hour. Okay, the certificate link and the credit claim link will be given at the end of this session. Remember that you can only use eDidik email and more email to claim the certificate. And for credit claim, you need to collect one letter and 5-digit codes. Okay, I repeat, one letter and 5-digit codes which will be announced separately 3 times. So during our class today. So to follow the class up until the end to get the complete code for the credit claim. Okay, I also like to remind students to use appropriate language and also use appropriate profile picture if you wish to post comments in the chat box. I'm pretty sure all of the students here are excellent students who will uphold a positive classroom environment. So please give your full cooperation in making this class a lively one. So stay focused, and if you have any questions, please write on the chat box and Teacher Non will try to provide you all with the answers. So before I pass this session to Teacher Non, okay, I will announce the letter and the first 2 digits code for credit claim. So the codes are, okay, letter A, okay, the digits are number 2 and 4. Okay, number 2 and 4. Okay, without further ado, please welcome Teacher Non. Okay, may start your presentation now.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. And hi everyone, how are you today? So welcome everyone to our tuition class today. And my name is Madam Noon. You can call me Madam Noon. I am from College Matrikulasi Negeri Sembilan. Okay, thank you so much Madam Rosmaya, our moderator today. Okay, so welcome Chia Ying, Chia Yao, Filza, welcome to the class. Okay, so firstly, I want to introduce the physics team in Academy YouTuber. For the physics team, led by Madam Rosmaya, and we have teacher Sue, teacher Hafsa Ayu, and also me. We also have mathematics teams, which is led by teacher Im, And then for the biology pro-U team, lead by Madam Faiza, Cikgu Faiza. And then for the chemistry team, lead by Cikgu Shahnun. Okay. Instead of that, we also have perakaunan and ekonomi pro-U team. Okay, lead by Madam Fizi. Okay. And academic YouTuber also have apps. Okay. You can download from the Google Play in our apps, academic YouTuber apps. It is a lot of video that you can find. Okay. Include the physics pro-U video. Okay, and now we go to the our objective today, which is we will do the revision for the topic 6, and also we will solve a few question. Okay, from the topic alternating current. Okay, now before we start, I just want to explain the overview about this topic so that you know what you're supposed to learn. Actually, you have learned. Okay, just as a revision. Okay, for the alternating current topic, there are 4 subtopic. So the first subtopic about the alternating current, you need to know the definition of the alternating current, and to sketch, you also need to know how to sketch and interpret the graph of a sinusoidal alternating current and alternating voltage. From the graph, you need to know how to write down the equation that can be represent the graph. Okay, the second subtopic is about the root mean square, which is RMS. So, same thing, you need to know the definition of the root mean square and the equation for the root mean square current and also root mean square voltage. Okay, if you refer to the equation, root mean square current is equal to the peak current divided by Z2, and for the RMS voltage, peak voltage or maximum voltage divided by Z2. That's the second subtopic. And the third subtopic is about the resistance, reactant, and impedance. So to explain about the resistance, reactant, and impedance, you need to know how to sketch to explain using the phasor diagram. So for phasor diagram, for the phasor diagram, we will look at the pure resistor. R is represent resistor, C capacitor, and L is inductor. Okay, so we will look at the circuit of a pure resistor, pure capacitor, pure inductor, and also the circuit that consists of a resistor and inductor, resistor and capacitor, and also the three component which is consists of resistor, inductor, and capacitor. And for this arrangement, we just study about the series arrangement of all component. Okay. And then from that, you will learn about the phase angle. You can calculate the phase angle between the current and the voltage, current and impedance. And then you're supposed to know what is reactance, capacitive reactance, and inductive reactance, and also the equation when we want to apply. And for the alternating current, for the total resistance, we call it impedance. Okay, so because of it is a phasor diagram is a vector form, in the vector form, so to calculate the total resistance or impedance in the circuit, in the alternating current circuit, so we use the equation for the impedance, which is involve the resistance in the circuit and also the inductive reactance and capacitive reactance. And for this part, relate to the RLC circuit, we also will see what is a resonant frequency. Okay, and we will see the equation, the question that relate to the resonant frequency. And the last part of this topic is about the power and power factor. So the the power that involved is you need to know how to calculate the average power or power loss to the power loss or power dissipated to the surrounding, what is instantaneous power, and also what is power factor. So this is overall what you have learned in the alternating current topic. Okay, so now we go to the first question. Okay, uh, I will follow the subtopic. So the first part is you need to. The question is for question 1A. You need to sketch a graph that indicate the alternating current against time. So you need to have skill to sketch a graph of alternating current. So this graph you're supposed to plot graph alternating current versus time. Okay, and this is the graph that you're supposed to sketch. For these types of graph, what you need to take note. Okay, so to get full point or full marks, you need to refer to these three important point. The first one is you need to label x and y axis with the correct unit. So in this case, because of it mentioned that you need to sketch the graph of alternating current. So the unit is ampere and the time is the unit second. And then you need to sketch the correct shape of the graph that represent the alternating current graph. And this is also important that sometimes you missed, which is you need to label at the x and y axis. For example, for the alternating current, you need to label I node because we have the peak current. We can get the peak value or maximum current from the graph, and also the period. Okay, so it is very important to label on your graph. Let's say if they give information, so you need to label the value that given to you. Okay, instead of you put the symbol. Okay, and just as additional, which is not included in the question, the general equation for the alternating current represent this graph is I is equal to I naught sine omega t. So we refer to this general equation for the alternating current versus time graph. Okay, so that's question number 1A. For question number 1B, okay, give an AC power supply. Okay, this is AC power supply produce a maximum voltage of 100 volt. This power supply is connected to 24 ohm resistor. Okay, here, and the current and resistor voltage are measured with an ideal AC ammeter and voltmeter as shown. So if you can see in the circuit, we put the ammeter and voltmeter. Okay, so referring to this question, what does each meter read? Meaning that this question want you to calculate the ammeter reading and also the voltmeter reading for this circuit. Do take note that an ideal ammeter has zero resistance and that ideal voltmeter has infinite resistance. So if you look at the circuit, basically this is single component circuit, right? So we call it pure resistor circuit ataupun or single component circuit. Okay, because of it is involved the resistor only in the circuit. Okay, and if you refer to the question, the information given as usual, first step when you read the question, please list all the information given so that you can identify what graph that, what equation that you can choose to answer. So the Vmax is 100 volt and the R is 24 ohm. And in this case, actually, because of this is pure resistor, and the equation for Vrms or V supply, voltage supply is equal to V naught sin omega t. I just write down the general equation. So referring to the given information, we have hidden information, okay, where you're supposed to know that for the maximum voltage, it is also represent the peak value, which is represent V naught. When you get the V naught and you have R for this single component circuit, so you can calculate the I naught. Okay, so here I note is equal to referring to the Ohm's law. We still refer to the basic knowledge. The equation of Ohm's law is not given, but you're supposed to know when you need to use it. So referring to the Ohm's law, you can calculate the peak current or maximum current, which is equal to 4.17 ampere. But this is not the answer. Don't confuse. Yeah, you still need to calculate the reading for the ammeter and voltmeter. And in this case, for the when it is connected to the alternating current source, so the ammeter and voltmeter will read the value for the uh, RMS value, RMS current and RMS voltage. Okay, so we need to calculate the RMS current and RMS voltage that flow through the ammeter and voltmeter respectively. Okay, referring to the information that we have, so now we can calculate the reading for the ammeter because of the current that flow in the circuit is represent the RMS current. So the RMS current is equal to I naught over Z2. We substitute the I naught that the hidden information here. Okay, we substitute in the equation and you will get the IRMS is 2.95 ampere. So let's say if you know the answer, you can write down in the chat box, yeah. Okay, and then to for the voltmeter reading. Okay, so we also calculate here given is the maximum of peak voltage. So the voltage that supply from the alternating current is represent the RMS voltage. So to get the RMS voltage, because of we have given the V naught or V max peak voltage, so we just substitute 100 divided by 2, you will get the RMS voltage is 70.7 volt. So the basic concept is the reading for the emitter and emitter, or the current that flow in the circuit. For example, it is the RMS current, and the voltage that we consider is the RMS voltage. We not consider the peak voltage because of referring to this, meaning that the RMS voltage is also equal to the supply voltage. And for your information and for the metric student, you can get this question also in our consultation hours program, yeah. The same question. Okay, you also can refer to your solution that you have tried before this. Okay, for question number 2, now first we identified the RMS and the RMS voltage and current from the circuit. Now if you have the graph, if the graph is given to you, so refer to the figure 2, shows graph of an alternating current varies with the time. Okay, I versus t. So what you need to calculate is the IRMS, and then you also need to determine the phase angle in the time interval of 60 milliseconds. So do take note the unit at the x component. It is very very important. Sometimes we miss the prefix that apply there. Okay, so first to calculate this is the first, because of if you look at the question, there is not no information given, right? So the information is from the graph. So you're supposed to get the graph. As a tips, if you get the graph, make sure that you take a look at the y component and x component. The hidden information is there, and also do take note. Sometimes we don't know what's the value is represent, so you can look at the axis. Okay, the axis, the unit at the axis. So in this case, for the x component, we have the period. We get the period which is 40 times 10 power of negative 3 because of 40 millisecond. And at the y component, we have the I naught which is equal to 5 ampere. Okay, and then to calculate the IRMS, is it clear, right? We have the I note there, so you can use the same equation as previous question. So you will get the IRMS is 3.54 ampere. And for question solution B, to determine the phase angle in the time interval of 60 uh, millisecond, okay, 60 millisecond. So what is the equation for phase angle? Okay, it is equal to omega t, and then omega is 2 pi f. Okay, and next, if you look at the information given, we do not have the value for f. Okay, t is as in the question, which is 60 millisecond. So first you need to calculate the f. Okay, you can get the f from the period. Okay, given the period, so you get the hidden information of the frequency, which is if you calculate, you get 25 hertz. And then when you substitute in the equation, you will get that the answer for the phase angle in the time interval of 60 millisecond is equal to 9.42 radian or 3 pi radian. Okay, so that's the way how to identify the phase angle and also the IRMS from the graph of I versus T graph. Okay, and the last part is for question number 2C, you need to write the equation for the alternating current. So given the graph now, you need to write down the equation. So to write down the expression or equation, sometimes the question asks you write down the expression for the alternating current. So for the equation, firstly, write down the general equation. So this general equation is given to you in the list of selected constant given, and then referring to this general equation, if you need to write down the equation that relate to the graph given, you need to have the value for I naught and also the omega. And here I naught is given from the graph, which is 5 ampere. So, and for the omega, we don't know the value for the angular velocity omega. We can calculate referring to part B, where we have calculate the frequency, and referring to the frequency, which is omega is equal to 2 pi f. to pi f. So 2 times f is 25, so it is equal to 50 pi radian per second. Because of that, you can write down, you can substitute the value for I naught and omega inside the equation. Okay, either one, either you give in the 50 pi t, or I is equal to 5 sine 157 t. And don't forget to give the unit for I, which is ampere, and t for unit second. Okay, this is the way. Either for the current equation or voltage equation, you need to refer to the general equation and find out the V naught and omega. Same thing with the I naught and omega for the alternating current equation. Okay, clear, right? So for question number three, okay, for question number 3A, you need to sketch the voltage time graph for a sinusoidal alternating source and distinguish between the peak voltage and RMS voltage. So in this case, for question number 1, you need to sketch the alternating current versus time graph. So now versus time graph. Okay, so actually because of the equation given to you, V is equal to V naught sin omega t. So you're supposed to know the shape, the types of the graph, and as usual, referring to the graph, the important things that you can get marks from your sketching is you label at the x and y component with the correct unit. Supposed to, yeah. So V is supposed to be with the unit volt and T with the unit second, and then you sketch the correct shape of the alternating voltage graph, and at the y component and x component. You need to label V naught as the peak voltage and also the period at the x component. Okay, this is important. And as I said, if the value is given to you for V naught and period, you can label the value there. You need to put the value there. Okay. So, and then how to distinguish between the peak voltage and RMS voltage? So, to distinguish both, okay, we can refer to the equation that relate them, which is VRMS is equal to V naught divided by Z2. Okay. So referring to this relationship, we know that the VRMS is actually equal to 0.707 V naught. And if you look at this value, VRMS is less than V naught. We will not use the V naught because we don't know either our component, electric component, are able to support the maximum voltage. So we use the RMS voltage, and the RMS voltage is not half of it, but 0.707, more than half of the peak voltage. And we note, you can say that it is a peak voltage or maximum voltage, and for the RMS is the value of the direct voltage which produce power at the same rate as an alternating voltage in a given resistor. Okay, so that's the definition of RMS voltage. So you can compare or you can distinguish between these two in terms of definition and in terms of the value, in terms of the relationship. Okay. And now we go to the question number B, 3B, which is a sinusoidal alternating voltage given as V equal to 5 times 10 power of 6 sine 100 pi t. So this is the equation for the alternating voltage. State the frequency, peak voltage, and RMS voltage. So in this question, you need to identify the hidden information behind the equation given. So referring to the equation, when we compare with the general equation, so we can see clearly the information that we have is V naught here, and also the angular velocity 100 pi, or angular frequency 100 pi radian per second. Okay, because of that, okay, we will get to calculate the frequency. We know omega is 100 pi, so omega is equal to 2 pi f, so frequency is there. So when you substitute the omega, you can calculate the frequency, which is equal to 50 hertz. Okay. And for the peak voltage, we get directly from the question, right? From the equation given, which is V naught is represent 5 times 10 power of 6 volt. But you need to state the value. Make sure that you write down the unit together, because of here there is no unit, right? So when you write down, you're supposed to put the unit. Then you can get marks. If not, if you get just state the value, there is no marks. Okay, with the unit. And for the RMS voltage, because we have the peak voltage, so we use the RMS voltage equation, substitute the V naught, the peak voltage, and you will get the VRMS, which is equal to 3.54 times 10 power of 6 volt. Okay. So this is basic application of the information from the graph and also from the equation for this the first three question. Okay, I hope that you're familiar with all this hidden info and also for the information from the graph. Okay, now we go to the question number 4. So for question number 4, okay, an AC source supply 40 volt of RMS voltage and frequency 100 hertz is connected to a circuit which consists of inductor with the inductance of 3 Henry and a resistor of 2 kilo ohm. So at the same time, can you can refer to the list of given information from the question. So and what you need to determine is the first one is current flow in the circuit. So referring to the information given, how to calculate the current flow. And remember, for the current flow in the circuit, it is the RMS current. RMS current. So uh, first identify this is the RL circuit. Am I right? Because of consists of inductor and also resistor only. So I just sketch the circuit, and I just label AC source normally produce the VRMS, and the current that flow through these two component is IRMS. And because of it is connected in series, so same current flow through the resistor and inductor. So to calculate the IRMS, we have the value for VRMS. And referring to the Ohm's law, actually V is equal to IR. But as I said, for the alternating current circuit, we not calculate the total resistance, but we calculate the impedance. Okay, because of that, referring to the Ohm's law, our impedance is represented by Z. But in this case, because of we have the R and L circuit only, so to calculate the impedance, impedance is equal to ZR square plus XL square. So if you remember the general equation for impedance, if it is consists of a resistor, capacitor, and inductor, it is equal to R square plus XL minus XC square. Remember, but because of our circuit no capacitor, so XC is equal to 0. So leave the XL square only. And if you calculate the impedance, and sorry, to calculate the impedance, R is given to us, but the from the question it give the value for the inductance, which is L. So to calculate the impedance, we need the inductive reactance. So you need to calculate the inductive reactance first, which is equal to omega L. Okay, the equation is XL is equal to omega L, and our omega is 2 pi F. Okay, I just replace directly to pi F because of I know the information given is F. So to make it easy, I we just substitute the F and also the L, which is 3 Henry, and you get the XL, which is equal to 600 pi ohm. When you get the XL, then you can substitute in the equation. So normally I will suggest you to calculate the impedance first and then substitute the value for the impedance. Also can and better for me. Okay, but in this case it is okay. I just substitute in the equation, and then our RMS voltage is 40 volt. Okay, we want to calculate the RMS current, which is the current flow in the circuit. So you will get from the information that we substitute, where the R is 2 kilo, meaning that 2000 ohms. And then you will get the RMS current is 1.46 times 10 power negative 2 ampere. Okay, do take note that yes, of course, we will keep repeating, referring to the. It's look like the same circuit, but behind that, you're supposed to understand if the question want you to calculate the current flow, meaning that you know you need to calculate the RMS current. Okay, because we have the peak current, we also have the alternating current equation, which is dependent on T against T. So you need to know which current that you're supposed to calculate, and the tips is for the current flow in the circuit, we refer to the RMS current. And for the voltage that supply, it is also referred to the RMS voltage. Okay. So this is question number A. For question number B, we want to calculate the voltage across the resistor and inductor. Okay, VRMS. So of course lah, because of the source is VRMS, through the resistor it is VRMS for resistor and VRMS for inductor. And to calculate the voltage across the resistor, we refer to the Ohm's law, still refer to the Ohm's law, but what we apply is we want to calculate the RMS voltage through the resistor, so we refer to the resistor here. The current is referred to the current, initial current that flow because of series combination, the current flow is equal. So we substitute the IRMS times with resistance, which is 2000 ohm. So you get the voltage across the resistor, which is 29.20 volt. So if sorry class, if you think that I am too fast, you can write down on the chat box. Okay, thank you. For the voltage across the inductor, one thing actually, if you look at that, I highlight with the different colors in the question, because of, let's say, because of this is two things that you need to calculate. So for you to not miss during the exam, maybe you need to underline what you want to calculate in that question, or you highlight in on your question, so you alert, instead of you need to calculate the voltage across the resistor, you also need to calculate the voltage across the inductor. Okay, and this is voltage across the resistor. For the voltage across the inductor, we use the same concept, but in this case, because of we have the inductor, so the Ohm's law apply, where the Vrms through the inductor is equal to Irms inductive reactance, XL. Okay, so do we have the value for XL? Yes, because of previous question in A, if I'm not mistaken, we have calculated. Yes, here I write down the notes here. From A, we have calculated the XL is equal to 600 pi ohm. So we just need to substitute the XL inside the equation, and the current just now from part A, you will get the voltage across the inductor, which is equal to 27.52 volt. Okay, so clear, right? Okay, for the phase angle, C, you need to calculate the phase angle between the applied EMF and current. So to calculate phase angle is represent the symbol of phi. And the equation is shift tangent XL over R. Why? Because of this is referred to the RL circuit. It is depends on the circuit given to you, either RC, RL, or RLC. Okay, the equation is different. Okay, so in this case, for the RL circuit, the shift tangent is equal to XL over R, and our XL is 600 pi just now, and the resistance is 2000 ohms. So when you calculate, you will get the phase angle between the applied EMF and current. It is equal to 43.3 degree. Okay, and then the last question is, okay, this is quite a conceptual question. Yeah, what should you do so that the voltage of the circuit is in phase with the current of the circuit? So what should you do? So you need to think little bit. Okay, what we want to do is the voltage of the circuit in phase with the current of the circuit. So we know that the voltage in phase with current only in the pure resistor. Okay, in the pure resistor, the voltage and current are in phase. But for the inductor, it is not in phase. So how we want to make sure that voltage and current in phase for the RL circuit? Okay, we have two way. The first way, if because of I said the voltage and current in phase only in the pure resistor, meaning that in that circuit there is consist of resistor only, pure resistor, right? So for this RL circuit, to make the voltage and current in phase, we can remove the inductor. So if we remove the inductor, the circuit only have the resistor. So the voltage and current for the pure resistor is in phase, as I said. Okay, we remove the inductor. Or okay, we add a capacitor which give the same potential difference as the potential difference across the inductor. Okay, why? In this case, actually, this is, we call it phasor diagram. After this, I will explain quite detail about the phasor diagram. Yeah. So this is about the phasor diagram. So I just want to show you VRMSR and IRMS. As I said just now, if for the pure resistor, V and I is in phase. So for the inductor V is lead the I. Okay, by pipe over to radian. So V is at the positive Y component. That's why if we remove the inductor, the VRMS is the total voltage, okay, total voltage, because it is a vector form, right? So we need to calculate the VRMS as a vector form, which is VRMS L square plus VRMS R cert, VRMS L square and VRMS R square. Okay, so when we remove the inductor, of course, VRMS just equal to VRMS that passing through the resistor, across the resistor. Okay, or if you put what happen if you add the capacitor? The V RMS for capacitor is at the because of the current lead the voltage for the capacitor. So V RMS for capacitor is at the Y negative Y component. So if we add the capacitor, we supposed to add the same voltage with the RMS in the L through the inductor. So if the same voltage, they can cancel each other at the Y component. So it leaves the VRMS equal to RMS through the resistor only. Okay, that's the concept of to make sure that the voltage in phase with the current in the circuit. Any circuit actually, you need to consider that part. All right, and then that's for question number 4. Okay, now we go to the question number 5.
Teacher Non, we
Yes.
already go live for 30 minutes. So would you like to take a break now?
All right.
Okay. So before we take a break, I will announce the third digit code, okay, for the credit claim. Okay, listen carefully, everyone. So the digit is number 2. Okay, the digit is number 2. Okay, so stay tuned, everyone, and let's watch the advertisement for the break.
Kini Akademi YouTuber memperkenalkan sistem mata ganjaran kredit Ayu untuk dikumpul. Jom ikuti kelas tuition live Ayu untuk mengumpul kredit Ayu dan berpeluang menebus hadiah-hadiah yang menarik. Hadiah bernilai lebih RM10,000 disediakan secara percuma untuk pelajar seluruh Malaysia. Apa tunggu lagi? Tebus ganjaran hebat ini sekarang. Layari www.academyyoutuber.com untuk maklumat lanjut.
Okay, welcome back, students. Okay, Teacher Non, you may proceed with your presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Rusmaya. So please keep the code. You can claim the credit later on. Okay, for question number 5, a circuit consists of 100 microfarad capacitor connected in series with 3.5 volt, 0.3 ampere electric bulb and alternating current source with frequency of 50 hertz. Okay, this is all the information given from the question. C, VRMS, the IRMS, and also F. So this value is referred to the RMS value. And if you can identify, of course, there is a capacitor in the circuit, and also electric bulb is actually represent the resistance or resistor. Okay, electric bulb is our resistor. So this is RC circuit. Okay, RC circuit. Okay, first you need to calculate the resistance of the bulb and the reactance of the capacitor. Okay, resistance of the bulb R and the reactance of the capacitor. So to calculate the resistance of the bulb, we refer to the Ohm's law. VRMS is equal to IRMS R. Okay, because of same current flow through the resistor and capacitor because of the series combination. So RMS given as 3.5 and the current that flow through the resistor is 0.3. So we can calculate the resistance of the light bulb with which is equal to 11.67 ohm. Okay, direct use as long as you understand the concept of RMS value. Okay, and then for the reactance of the capacitor, because we have the capacitance which is 100 microfarad. So for the reactance of the capacitance or capacitive reactance, it is equal to 1 over omega C actually. Sorry, there is a typing error there. 1 over omega C, and our omega is 2 pi f because of the frequency is given. So when you substitute in the equation with the frequency of 50 and the capacitance is 100 micro, do take note the prefix. If your calculator have the micro symbol there, you can use it. Okay, you can substitute micro. If not, you need to put the times 10 power of negative 6 for the prefix of micro. And then you can calculate. You will get the reactance of the capacitor or capacitive reactance, which is equal to 31.83 ohms. Okay. And then that's the resistance and reactance in the circuit. Now we need to calculate the impedance of the RC series circuit. So how to calculate the impedance? What is impedance? Okay, just now I said impedance is the total resistance, but it is not totally all resistance. It is consists of capacitance and also the inductance. So we call it impedance. So for the calculation of impedance, actually we refer to the general equation. But in this case, because of our circuit is consists of R and C, so XL is equal to 0 and leave the equation of impedance as R square plus XC square. And we substitute the R and the XC that we have calculated inside the equation, and you will get the impedance which is equal to 33.90 9 ohms. Okay, and that's B. Okay, how about C? So for C, we need to calculate the voltage of the alternating current source and also the voltage across the capacitor. So voltage of the AC source is referred to the VRMS. Okay, but in this case, because of it is source, voltage of the source consists of include all the circuit. So referring to the Ohm's law, we use the VRMS, which is equal to IRMS Z. Okay, we not refer to R or XC only because of it is a total. So our Z we have calculated just now the impedance in B, which is 33.9. So we just need to substitute the value. You will get that the VRMS. Don't confuse, yeah. The first VRMS here is referred to because of it said that connected in series with 3.5 volt, 0.3 ampere electric bulb. Meaning that this is the voltage through the resistor. VRMS through the resistor. So in C, we need to calculate the voltage of alternating source. Alternating source. Don't confuse. Two different things. Because we also call VRMS through the resistor, VRMS through the capacitor. Okay. So the things that we want to calculate here is the source, the RMS source. Okay, not the RMS through the resistor. Okay, and then if you calculate, you will get that the voltage of the alternating source is equal to 10.17 volt. Excuse me. And for the voltage across the capacitor, we use the same concept. And in this case, we have calculated the XC before this, right? In A, okay, reactance of the capacitor, we just substitute the value for XC. So we will get the voltage across the capacitor, okay, which is equal to 9.55 volt. Okay, in this case, that's why lah, for the alternating current question, you see it is a lot of question as am I right? A, B, C. Sometimes there is a one Roman, two Roman, three Roman. Because of the component, the part that we need to calculate is quite detailed, one by one. So include the VRMS. For example, we have a lot of VRMS. So you need, when you do a lot of exercise, you can identify what the question want you to calculate. You will not confuse. Okay. And for D, okay, 5D power factor, we need to calculate the power factor of the circuit. So for the power factor, we know that the equation for the power factor is cos phi. Cos phi is represent the power factor. So the equation that we can use for the cos phi, let's say if you not remember, you can refer to the phasor diagram. Actually, after this, I will explain about the phasor diagram. So cos phi is actually equal to R over Z. Okay, R over Z. So the R is the value for R resistance. Oh, we have calculated earlier, right? Resistance of the bulb, which is 11.67. And then impedance, we also have calculated in B. So we just substitute the value and you get the power factor, which is cos phi is equal to 0.34. Because of the cos phi, there is no unit. Do take note about that. Cos phi or power factor, there is no unit. The value is 0.34 in this case. Okay. That's for question number 5. Okay, and for question number 6, okay, in a certain series RLC circuit, IRMS is given as 9 ampere and VRMS is 180 volt. So read the question carefully. If it said that the IRMS and VRMS for the RLC circuit, meaning that it is general, the RMS current that flow through the RLC and the AC source which is produce the RMS, give the RMS value, voltage, and the current lead the voltage by 37 degree. So meaning that the current is IRMS current and VRMS total voltage lah through the circuit RLC. So the current lead voltage by 37 degree. So you need to sketch the phasor diagram relate to the circuit. This is a skill. You need a skill to sketch the phasor diagram, and you need to understand the concept of the phasor diagram. So first, I just sketch the related circuit, which is consists of R, C, and L. Doesn't matter, yeah, RLC or RCL. Okay, and then through each resistor, capacitor, and inductor, we have VRMSR, VRMSC, and VRMSL. And the current that produced from the source is IRMS, and the V from the AC source is VRMS. To sketch the phasor diagram that relate to the RLC circuit, first you need to know what is phasor diagram is actually. So phasor diagram will show the phase relationship between the current and the voltage in the vector form. It show the relationship between the IRMS, VRMS, VRMS through the resistor, capacitor, and inductor in the vector form. Okay, we use the concept of vector because of arrow with the direction to, it is a vector. And I just want to pick up the previously Madam Rosmanya shared about the rules, civil rules. If you still remember from her tuition class about the civil, I love it very much. It is very very useful because of if you this is you can remember C is represent the capacitor, L is inductor. So capacitor for the capacitor, I is represent the current, V is represent the voltage. So it is very easy to remember for the capacitor, current lead the voltage, and for the inductor, voltage lead the current. So it is very easy, very useful when you want to sketch the phasor diagram. So referring to this question, but in this question it is quite a little bit what we said, because of it's give the it state that the current lead the voltage by 37 degree. Current lead the voltage. Okay, what I mean is, okay, to look at the solution, to sketch the phasor diagram, we need the x component and y component, of course, because we use the vector form. And first we write down the RMS current because of the same current flow through the each component. So we have the current, the direction of current, and as I said, for the pure resistor, the V is in phase with the current. So when V RMS through the resistor is in phase with the current, it is at the same axis lah, same position. And now to sketch uh, the the V RMS through the capacitor and V RMS through the inductor. Okay, so we refer to the civil as I said just now, as Madam Rosmaya explained before this. L for the inductor, V is lead current by pi over 2. So VRMSL is lead the IRMS by pi over 2. So the phasor diagram or the arrow, the vector form is at the positive y component. And for the capacitor VRMSC, so the current lead the voltage. So this is the current. So you're supposed to sketch the voltage for the capacitor, which is at the y negative y component, because of current lead the voltage by pi over 2 radian. Okay, current lead the voltage by pi over 2. So this is a general for the phasor diagram that you supposed basic phasor diagram that you're supposed to know how to sketch, which is it consists of IRMS, and we have the VRMS R, VRMSL, and VRMSC. And of course, for the VRMS, because of it is not at the same axis, so you need to find the resultant. Am I right? To calculate the resultant, we use the vector concept. But before that, we need to focus, referring to this question, we focus on because of it's give us the current which is lead the voltage 37 degree. So where is supposed to be the VRMS or total voltage? So it's supposed to be here with the angle, with the phase angle is 37 degree, meaning that our phi is 37 degree, and show that IRMS lead the VRMS, lead the voltage. I lead the voltage 37 degree. So to make sure that to show that the I lead the voltage, so the here is very important at the Y component, because we want to produce VRMS at the fourth quadrant. So VC supposed to be greater than VL. So when we solve the y-axis at the y-axis, VRMSC minus with VRMSL. So because of that, the purple color is referred to the resultant of the y component of the phasor for the VRMSL and C, then produce the VRMS, the resultant RMS voltage of the circuit. Okay, so this is the phasor diagram that you need to sketch, or you also can sketch. Okay, of course the phasor is the rotation of the phasor is anti-clockwise, or you also can sketch like this, which is represent this is VRMSR, and then the resultant at the y component is the downward direction of vector or to the VRMSC. So this is the RMS. Here shows also that the phasor diagram that relate to the circuit is showing that current lead the voltage with 37 degree, meaning that the 37 degree is referred to the total voltage and current that flow in the circuit, which is the RMS current. Okay, or I sketched this phasor diagram, which is represent using the voltage, RMS voltage, because of the information given, the VRMS. Okay, let's say if the given the reactance or the resistance or the impedance, okay, so you also can sketch the phasor diagram like that. Okay, meaning that we also can represent by the resistance and reactance. Okay, same shape with the voltage, current and voltage. But in this case, this is the current lead the impedance. Okay, current lead the impedance by 37 degree. Okay, uh, because of I prefer the previous solution because of the question said that or state that the current lead the voltage, so you need to show the current lead the voltage, but actually the same phasor diagram with the current and impedance. Okay, all right, that's for the phasor diagram. And question number 6b, we need to calculate the impedance. Okay, so what is impedance of the circuit? All right, so for the impedance, actually there are two ways to calculate impedance in this case. Okay, the first one, if you're smart, okay, you can use directly the Ohm's law because of we know the RMS voltage and IRMS. Okay, if you know this value, you can calculate the impedance Z using this equation. So you will get directly the Z, which is equal to 20 ohm. Very easy, right? So, or, oh, sorry, or you also can use the equation for impedance. So but for that case, it is referred to the, I just want to highlight referring to the phasor diagram. If you want to calculate the Z, assume it is a vector. So for the vector Z, which is resultance resistance. So of course, X square, right? X represent the R. So R square plus width. At the y component, it is XL minus XC. So XL minus XC square. Cert R square plus XL minus XC square. So you also can use the equation if you have the information of XL, XC, and also the R. Okay. And then that's the two way of calculating the Z. So be smart. Read the question carefully. Take a look at the information given. So you list the information is sometimes can help you. Okay. And then for the for the power factor, okay. In this case, just now we used the equation for power factor, which is cos of phi is equal to R over Z, right? So in this case, for the power factor, because we have the phase angle between the RMS, IRMS and the voltage, which is 37 degree. So you can substitute directly the phi inside the equation. This part student always confuse. They confuse how to calculate the power factor. Finally, they can't answer. They not answer or they just state cos phi. Okay, so if you calculate substitute the 37 as phi as the phase angle, you will get that the power factor is equal to 0.799, no unit. Okay, power factor no unit. Please remember. All right. Now we go to the question number 7. For question number 7, a series of AC circuit is contain the following component R, L, and C. So this is RLC circuit. So while the AC supply is V max given is 210 volt operating at 50 hertz. Calculate the inductive reactance and capacitive reactance. Okay, I just put the circuit there so you remember. RLC circuit consists of resistance, capacitance, and inductor. So to calculate the inductive reactance, okay, we use directly the equation which is XL is equal to omega L. You will use a lot, and if you do the exercise, if you do the revision, you will repeat using the same equation. So make sure that you do the exercise so that you're familiar to use when to use that equation. So referring to the XL is equal to omega or 2 pi FL, we just substitute the frequency which is 50 hertz, and the inductance is 250 millihenry. So milli is 10 power of negative 3. You will get that the inductive reactance is 78.5 ohms. And for the capacitive reactance, we use directly the equation and substitute the value correctly. Do take note there is a micro here, so 10 power of negative 6. You will get the capacitive reactance which is 1.59 times 10 power of 3 ohms, or you can say that 1.59 kilo ohms for the capacitive reactance. Okay. Next, you need to calculate the impedance. You have the value for R, XL, and XC. It is quite easy, right, to calculate the impedance. So for the impedance, we just use directly the equation of impedance. So why the total resistance or the impedance, the equation like this, as I said, referring to the phasor diagram. It is a vector form, vector concept. So we do the calculation referring to the vector concept. Because of that, when we substitute the value of R, XL, and XC that we have calculated in A, you will get the impedance which is equal to 1518.92 ohms. Okay. The unit for impedance, reactance, and resistance is same, which is ohm. Do differentiate between the inductance and capacitance. Inductance is Henry, capacitance is Farad. But reactance, it is ohms unit. Okay. And for the maximum current, so how to calculate the maximum current? We have the maximum voltage and we know the total impedance inside the circuit. So very easy, we still refer to the Ohm's law. We note I naught is refer to the maximum current. So V naught is equal to I naught Z. We just substitute the value for Z and V naught given in the question. So you will get that the maximum current is, or peak current is 0.138 ampere. Okay. And for the phase angle, the last part, we need to calculate the phase angle. For the phase angle, we refer to the equation of phase angle. And luckily, because of this circuit, as I said, it is RLC circuit. So we use full equation for the phase angle. Before this, we only have the inductor and resistor, if I'm not mistaken. So XL over X over R. But in this case, because of RLC circuit, so it is consists of the three component. So the phase angle, we use shift tangent XL minus XC divided by R. So how we get this equation? It is very easy. It is the vector form. Okay, you refer to the phasor diagram and we apply the series which is what is it? Tua kasuh, right? Cah, cah, cah suh tua. Okay, and then we just substitute the XL, XC, and R given that we have calculated and given in the question. So you will get the phase angle which is 84.33 degree. Okay. And then yes, that's it for question number 7. Now we go to the question number 8. So for question number 8, a circuit consists of 2 Henry inductor, 50 microfarad capacitor connected in series with a light bulb. Okay, don't confuse, even it not mention resistance, but our light bulb is actually represent the resistance. So this circuit consider the RLC circuit. Okay, the frequency of the source is 50 Hz. Root mean square voltage across the light bulb, meaning that VRMS R, inductor and capacitor is 200, 450 volt and 152. So I have list here completely, yeah. And you need to determine the supply voltage, the current flow in the circuit, and also the total impedance for the supply voltage. Okay, to calculate the supply voltage, it is quite easy, right? If you look at the series combination, maybe you think that you need to add all the voltage, but no. Referring to the this is alternating current circuit, so we refer to the phasor diagram to calculate the supply voltage. We need to use the cert VR square plus VL minus VC square. How we get this equation? It is from the phasor diagram just now that we have discussed in the question number 6, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, refer to the phasor diagram. So you will get the equation for the supply voltage, and this supply voltage is actually the RMS voltage. And if you substitute, you will get the value for the supply voltage is 358 volt. Okay, rationally, if you refer to the series combination, if you add up all the RMS voltage given, it's supposed to be more than 4 6 around 600 something, right? If we consider it is a series combination, resistance of the series combination, but it is the alternating current, so we have the phasor diagram in the vector form, so we get that the supply voltage is not supposed to be greater, not the combination of all of the VRMS. Okay, and for the part B, we want to calculate the current flow in the circuit. So of course, for the current flow in the circuit, even it's not mentioned, you're supposed to calculate the IRMS current. And of course, referring to this question, because of we have the value for inductor and capacitance. Inductance and capacitance, so we can use either one. So in this case, I choose to use the inductance, which is XL. We still refer to the Ohm's law, okay, for easy for us. Even here is VRMSL, but for the current is the IRMS current, right? Because of the same current flow through the RCL circuit. So now the main point is we need to calculate the XL, because of XL is not given to us. VRMSL is given to us. We want to calculate the IRMS. So first calculate the XL, and because of that, you can choose either XL or XC. Yeah, you can calculate. So I choose XL, easier. So 2 pi F is 50, L is inductance, 2 Henry. So XL is 6 to 8. 0.32 ohms. We just substitute in the equation, you will get that the IRMS is equal to 0.716 ampere. Okay, so that's for the current flow in the circuit. And for the total impedance, okay, total impedance is directly use the Ohm's law, because this is, you need to be smart, because of we have the RMS voltage that in we have calculate in A, and also we have the IRMS current in B, so you can calculate directly the total impedance. Okay, or impedance only. We sometimes we not call it total impedance. We call it impedance only. So the value for impedance in this circuit is 501.24 ohms, meaning that even we do not know the resistance of the light bulb, we still can calculate the impedance. That's what happened actually, because of the Ohm's law is not given to you in the selected formula. So please take note. Try to do a lot of exercise that relate to this chapter, so you will face it is quite easy if you understand clearly. Okay, and then maybe we can this one, either one, yeah, as I said before, this either you use the Ohm's law, but you make sure that you follow the correct value, correct concept, or you can use the impedance equation. But in this case, because of R is not given to us, resistance, there is no resistance, so we cannot use this equation. But this is the actually equation for the impedance. I just want to remind you, don't confuse. Even the equation for impedance is given like this, but you also can calculate impedance using the Ohm's law. But make sure that you substitute the correct value for this V and I. Okay. And for question number 9, maybe we can discuss question number 9 little bit. So this case, this is the RLC circuit, but given to us the equation for the voltage, sinusoidal voltage, which is 20 sine 50 pi t. So referring to this equation, the resistance in the circuit is 670 ohms. The inductance is 2.50 millihenry, and C is 47 microfarad. So here we get the from the given sinusoidal voltage equation, we have two information, which is V naught and also the angular frequency, 50 pi radian per second. So to calculate the impedance, okay, so the impedance equation is this one. So first we need to have the value for XL, because of it is not given to us, right? XL and XC. R is there. So you need to calculate the XL dengan XC using the related equation. And then from this equation, from this result, you can substitute the impedance equation. So in this case, C, you cannot use the Ohm's law, because we have no value for I. Okay, and then you get the impedance, which is 6.77 ohms. Okay. For question B, the frequency of AC source is adjust until it draw maximum current. Okay, this is very important point, which is maximum current. So first you need to calculate the maximum current. So maximum current is when the frequency of AC source is called the resonant frequency, where when the current is maximum, the impedance is minimum, and the XL is equal to the value for XC is equal to XL. Okay, so I just write down. First, we want to calculate the maximum current. So to calculate the maximum current, because we have the maximum peak voltage or maximum voltage, which is 20 from the equation, and we have calculated the impedance just now, you can directly calculate the maximum current or the peak current, which is 0.03 ampere. For the B2, for the question B2, you need to calculate the frequency of AC at this instant. So we call that frequency when the current is maximum is resonant frequency. So I just put the view notes for the resonant frequency that you're supposed to know. You're supposed to highlight at the resonant frequency. The As I said, when the current is maximum, the impedance will be minimum, and at that times also at the instance also XL is equal to XC, and the value for minimum impedance is equal to the resistance. And referring to the concept of XL equal to XC, we can get the equation for the resonant frequency. Okay, from XL, the concept of XL is, which is equal to XC when the current is maximum. So we get the frequency or resonant frequency equation, which is equal to 1 over 2 pi cert LC. Do you know why? Because of the resonant frequency equation is not given to you. So you're supposed to understand the concept, which is XL is equal to XC during the resonant frequency, when the frequency of the AC is in the resonance. Okay, so referring to this equation, we can calculate the question B2 for the resonant frequency. We just need to substitute the value for L and C. When you substitute, do take note the prefix milli and micro, and you calculate, you will get that the frequency is 46.43 Hertz. Okay, and lastly, the average power dissipated by the resistor. For the average power dissipated, we because of the okay, this part is very important. For the power is only dissipated through the resistor, so of course the equation that relate to the resistance is involved. uh, uh, Actually, power through the capacitor inductor, the power is not dissipated because of both capacitor inductor, the power they store energy as the current increase. Okay, so they're not dissipated the power through the capacitor and inductor. Okay, do take note about that. So for the average power, so we divide by half I naught square R, so you get the average power, which is equal to 0.330 watt. Okay. So actually, we have the last question, question number 10. But in this case, we just want to calculate the power average and a power factor and average power for question number A and B. So if you refer to the question, okay, an electric motor is connected to two 3-volt 50 Hertz AC supply. So the motor has resistance of 15 ohms and reactance, inductive reactance is 27. So this is given direct. So to calculate the power factor, because of this is RL circuit, for the power factor, we refer to the equation of R over Z. But referring to the equation, the Z is not given. We calculate the Z first. So from the calculation of Z, we substitute the R and the impedance Z, and you get the power factor. So we have applied this equation previously before this, yeah. And then for average power, to calculate the average power, we use the equation of I RMS V RMS cos phi. So this equation is given to you. So make sure that you know when you need to use it. So in this case, because of we have the value for I RMS, do we have the I RMS? Oh no. So we do not have the IRMS, but we can get the IRMS from equation of VRMS over Z. So I just substitute in the equation. So when I substitute VRMS over Z, the equation, the average power become VRMS square over Z and cos phi. So all the value is here. We have calculated the Z, we know the VRMS and also cos phi for the power factor. We just substitute the value and you get the power average is 839 watt. Okay. And last, the value of capacitor. You need to calculate the value of the capacitor to be added in series with the motor so that the power factor is 1. So this very hot question. How you want, what is the value for capacitor to be added so that the power factor is 1? So to make sure that the cos phi is equal to 1, phi is supposed to be equal to 0, right? So phi equal to 0, meaning that the phase angle is equal to 0, meaning that Z is equal to R, referring to the phasor diagram. So, okay, referring to the phasor diagram, phi is equal to 0, meaning that Z is equal to R. There's no XL. XL is equal to XC. Okay, and then this is the, if you want to refer to the phasor diagram. So to calculate the capacitor that's supposed to be added, we refer to this equation, and referring to this equation, XL is given as 27. XC we don't know, but we know one because we want to calculate the capacitance. So 1 over 2 pi FC. So referring to this relationship, you can calculate the capacitance that's supposed to be added so that the power factor is equal to 1 is, the value of capacitance is 118 microfarad. Okay, so actually question number 10C is the hot question. You need to think to get the answer, and we apply few related concept. Okay, so I think 10, sorry, we live more than 1 hour. So I think that's it for our class. Can you please give comment referring to my presentation so that I can improve my comment later on. So thank you very much. I give back to Madam Rosmaya. Okay, thank you, Madam Rosmaya.
Okay, so with God grace, we have reached the end, okay, of today's session. And congratulations to those who are able to follow our session from the beginning till the end. Okay, so before we end our session for today, I will announce the fourth and the fifth, the last 2 digits code for credit claim. Okay, listen all. So the digits are 6, 6. 2 letters 6. Okay, 2 digits. 6, 6. So all of you, please stop posting your comments for a while. And if you haven't clicked the subscribe button, please do so. And make sure it turns to grey color, not the red color. And activate the icon bell so that you will not miss the next class session. Okay, then if you find that the lesson was beneficial, click like and share to your friends on your social media. So spread and share the goodness. Okay, once completed, type done on the chat box before the certificate link and credit claim link are given as a token of thank you for your dedication in joining the free online class today. Okay, so I will paste the link now. Okay, link for credit and also link for tuition life. Sijil, what is sijil? Okay. So the certificate link and the credit claim link are already given in the chat box. Okay, so please take note, the link will end half an hour after this live. So make sure to use the EDD email or more email only to log in. Incorrect email used will not be entertained. If you haven't got one, please apply. The link to apply the EDD email is also given in the chat box. Okay, so if you wish to get more information on the online classes, go to www.academyyoutuber.com. And to those who haven't joined EDD Junior Telegram, please do so. So once again, I would like to thank all of the students for joining today. Remember that the more classes you join, the more credit you can claim. Okay, feel free to share this free tuition class to your friends and teachers all over Malaysia. This is a collective effort from all the teachers throughout Malaysia for all the students throughout the country. And thank you too for being a YouTuber Academy supporter too. So I think that's all for now. See you in another session. Okay, ingat hashtag bermula percuma, selamanya percuma. And Assalamualaikum. Stay safe till we meet again next week on the same day, same time, okay, for fasting month, okay, during Ramadan, okay, every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Okay, so bye-bye.
Wow, banyaknya hadiah menarik menanti anda. Wah, kini Akademi YouTuber mengambil inisiatif baru di mana memberikan hadiah-hadiah ini secara percuma. Ya, percuma kepada anda semua. Bagaimana caranya? Dengan mengikuti kelas tuition online percuma Akademi YouTuber sambil mengutip mata kredit, anda dapat menukarkannya dengan hadiah-hadiah yang menarik ini. Tunggu apa lagi? Segalanya percuma.
Jangan lepaskan peluang tau. Dah dapat banyak hadiah menarik, takkan nak lepaskan peluang.
Layari www.academyyoutuber.com sekarang untuk maklumat lanjut.
Dibawakan kepada anda oleh Akademi YouTuber.